No lightning round tonight, though.
Mm.
Tonight we're gonna be thumbs up and thumbs down and stuff. All right, Silas, you want to do our intro music? All right, welcome to CouncilCast. This is episode 75, being recorded on April 2nd, 2019. The council is now in session, and as with every week, we will make arbitrary decisions about topics on science, technology, and random shit with little background and next to no expertise. All CouncilCast decisions are final and have no bearing on anything whatsoever.
That intro was a little loose. Not yours. The intro soundtrack. I'm gonna need a tighter sound for next week.
I'll work on it. I will work on it.
You have between now and the end of the episode to work on
It's
it.
like, or if you want to think about it a different way, it was a little woody. We're going for tinny.
Got it. Ting, ting, ting. Got it. I'll work on it.
Yep. Expect it perfected by next week. All right. Tonight, we're going to start off with our new Space Force in town, India.
Excuse me?
So apparently India is now has now declared themselves a Space Force. So they apparently decided that they were going to shoot down a weather satellite from space.
Was it their own?
I think so.
So they attack themselves.
Yes. And then they declared themselves a Space Force.
That's a preemptive strike.
We were just getting too powerful.
All right.
It's very
calm down, India.
It's very important in my headcanon to know whether they declared themselves a Space Force first and then proceeded to shoot down their own satellite, or whether they did it after, or whether they did it. Yeah, you know what I mean. The opposite.
You're right there. You're right there, Logan.
He's fucking dying.
Every time you guys say Space Force, I lose it.
I mean, I don't know why that's so funny. This is serious business.
This is serious.
Serious
They
because
shot down a defenseless satellite.
Yeah, they're showing off that they are a Space Force.
All it leads me to believe is that their satellite didn't, like, the Space Force has no defense, only offense.
It's like in the movie Support Your Local Sheriff. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Okay.
Well, I haven't. It's just like that.
He comes to town. He tosses the Support Your Local Sheriff. The scene goes like this: that they walk in. There is
it's 2 hours before dusk.
2 hours before dusk. I'm setting the scene. They come in. This guy comes into town, and there's a sign up that says "Sheriff Wanted," and like they're hiring a sheriff. He's like, "Oh, I'll apply for that because I need a job." It's like the most unruly town in the whole world, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll be sheriff." And the mayor and some other people are like, "How do we know you're qualified?" And they're in a hardware store. He grabs a washer out of a bin. He goes, "All right, see," and he flips it up in the air, pulls his gun out, shoots, puts his gun back in his holster, and grabs it, catches it, and says, "See?" And they're like, "What are we looking at?" He's like, "Well, I shot through the center of that right there." He's like, "It's a washer. How do we know?" And he goes, "All right, fine." So then he puts a piece of tape around it, tosses it up in the air, pulls his gun out, shoots, put it back, holds it out, and he did shoot through it. And so then you're like, you know what? Maybe if they are shooting satellites out of the air, they should be the space sheriffs or whatever. That's what I think.
I think the problem is that they are only offensive here. I mean, if they wanted to be a real Space Force, they should have blocked it or something like that.
See, we tried to shoot our satellite, but then we blocked it.
So apparently,
that's just good stuff. Good times.
So apparently, India is now so powerful. They're as powerful as 3 other countries. So good for them.
Combined or just like at once?
at once. They are only the 4th nation to shoot down a satellite.
This is a common thing to shoot down satellites?
Contain the United States and Russia and
China.
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 China
6,000 chicken vaginas, please. I think the biggest problem with this is that it's causing low orbit debris.
Yes.
Is this debris not shit that would just wait? Oh, this is stuff that won't come down
Right.
immediately. They didn't shoot down; they shot out.
Yeah.
Correct. They said that it produced about 2,000 pieces of debris.
Well, then in this freaking title where it says India shoots down a weather satellite, declares itself a quote-unquote space power, I also think shoots down should also be quote-unquote, or down, at least.
More accurately, they blew up a satellite.
God, the editor for Ars Technica just needs to go.
I don't think that anybody's a true Space Force just yet, because all of our power options are just making things blow up and cause like shrapnel over the Earth.
You clearly don't understand space power moves.
But that is a good point about the debris, because I read an article today about NASA saying that, hey, there was actually debris that was blown up into an altitude around the International Space Station.
Which they're not going to be fans of.
And so they're like, hey, there's a bunch of crap floating around here now, so that's fun.
Oh my God, it's going to be gravity all over again.
We're going to have gravity, too.
We're going to have to send George Clooney to space to save everyone.
Oh, or have you guys seen Love, Death, and Robots yet on Netflix?
No.
Okay, well, there's a great episode on this exact thing.
India becoming a space force?
Shrapnel in the low orbit.
Oh, then I'm definitely not watching it.
No, all right, well.
I feel like all that shrapnel is just like a fun surprise.
It's kind of like confetti.
I was just going to say confetti cannon.
Space confetti.
I mean, I think we all know where this is going.
I mean, I'm giving it a thumbs up because of space confetti. So.
Thumbs up for Space Force.
Thumbs up for blowing up satellites.
Whoa.
Thumbs up for there being a new space sheriff in town.
And a thumb sideways from Logan. All right.
Just a straight no vote, because I'm laughing myself to the ceiling in here.
Well, I think that unfortunately India went around becoming a space force the wrong way, because I think they should have in fact shot a shark into space and used that to destroy satellites. Because apparently great white sharks are absolutely unstoppable.
Sharks with lasers on their heads.
Yes.
Freaking sharks with freaking laser beams on their freaking heads. I'll do that.
Yeah.
So apparently a new paper came out this week about great white sharks. And apparently they have a shit ton of lead, arsenic, and mercury inside of them, and they are like unstoppable beasts. So if you ever have a shark coming at you, you better hope it's not a great white shark. I thought the interesting part here was that they tested all of these. They had 14 heavy metals, and apparently they had enough heavy metal levels in the shark's body size and weight that it would have totally killed a human, pretty much.
So wait, they added this to the shark's blood, or the shark already has this in its blood naturally?
Naturally, it has it in its blood.
That's horrifying.
Yes.
I'm being FaceTimed while we're doing this here.
Great.
Maybe we should send a shark over there.
Oh, is this the stuff that's happening in the room behind me?
I can't. I did.
Sounds working, but mute isn't.
That's exactly what's happening.
Mute him. Just mute him.
Mute me. Sorry, guys. Just a minute.
Mute him. Just mute him.
Goodbye.
Oh, not. Just mute him anyway. He deserves it.
That's ridiculous. A little bit of arsenic and old lace. So if we cut them up and put them in an apple pie, it would just be like the show Arsenic and Old Lace.
I mean, how bad would it be if you ate great white shark and you just died because of all the mercury in it?
Yeah, isn't that a
do I have to
delicacy
eat
somewhere?
the whole shark?
Which would be worse, being eaten by the shark or dying from eating the shark?
I thought we muted him.
That's a good question.
I thought we muted him.
I guess it depends if you get eaten, how quickly you die.
I did watch a special where killer whales kill great white sharks with ease.
Do they eat them?
They just, they do. They flip them over until they fall asleep, and then they rip them to shreds.
So
It's true.
So great white, so killer whales are unstoppable beasts.
Well, it was a pack.
Is really jumping the shark.
It was a whole pack of sharks, and this great white came. I mean, it's a whole pack of sharks, and this killer whale came in, killed the shark, killed one of the sharks. They all left and didn't come back. So,
because they were all scared of killer.
They were all scared. Yep.
As they should be. You got friggin' killer whales just zooming around and putting sharks to sleep.
So does that mean that killer whales are now more unstoppable than great white sharks?
Well, yeah. Where's that article? Who's talking about that?
Well, this article
apparently the one Brian saw.
This article is outdated already.
Oh, really?
It wasn't an article. It was a television show. So
there should be an article about great whites. I mean,
killer whales.
That one. The other one.
Thumbs up for apple pie with shark bites in it, though.
That is pretty gnarly that they've got all that in their blood. I mean, like at what levels though did they say? I'm sure we have all of those things too.
Yeah, they said that they don't give any actual amounts, but they said the sharks on average had high amounts of lead, arsenic, and mercury, including levels of the latter two that would be enough to outright kill or seriously harm other vertebrae. Which I can only mean.
Wow.
Like if we put the shark through an MRI machine, would all those metals just be a problem?
Probably not.
Be like a little light show.
They're not magnetic, so it's okay.
Damn it.
I give it a thumbs up for just being badass. So
I agree. Thumbs up for being badass.
More reason to make sharks deadly.
Did it say which ones? It said 14 heavy metals.
I don't know which heavy metals.
I assume,
it read them all, or some of them.
Iron? Is iron considered a heavy?
No. It says lead as well as trace elements of arsenic and mercury. I was trying to find where the.
I mean, are we talking like heavy metals like Iron Maiden or Slayer or Judas Priest or? Okay, I burned that joke, didn't I?
No, I'm on board with that.
I don't know. I'm not smart enough to read the article, so
maybe just not patient enough to read
it.
Well,
they only have the abstract online, so I'm not gonna go find it. If you want to find more, you can read the Marine Pollution Bulletin, volume 142 from May 2019 on pages 85 to 92. So go read more. If you don't want to read more, if you want to go faster, you maybe want to be part of the Kansas City St. Louis Hyperloop.
I want this so badly. Not just Kansas City, St. Louis specifically, but like our major interstate corridors, basically. Like this kind of thing would make Chicago like 30 minutes from us. It would make the trip back to Omaha and where my parents live, like, 15 minutes. Like, this is the kind of shit that would be so amazing.
All the more reason to just get rid of the
skip
car.
light rail and high speed rail and go straight to Hyperloop. Like,
I mean, there's got to be something faster than current train systems, and I think this is a great opportunity. They picked out I-70 between Kansas City and St. Louis because it's relatively straight.
Yeah, I mean, relatively straight. Yeah, isn't 80 across like all of Iowa and Nebraska pretty relatively straight?
And they're saying it would take 30 minutes to get from Kansas City to St. Louis.
Yeah, that's pretty killer.
How long?
30 minutes.
That's it?
Yeah,
That's
30 minutes.
It takes 3.5 hours
It takes
by car.
me longer to drive to work in the morning from Des Moines to Ames.
That changes commute possibilities drastically.
It absolutely does.
They also say that tickets are going to cost $30, which is pretty damn cheap.
I mean, $30. I guess it's not really used so much. It wouldn't be used so much as a commute. If you're,
well, I mean, if you get rid
unless
of
your
car,
company's popping the $30 a day for you to commute, like
you think about car payment and gas and insurance.
I mean, yeah.
I heard I don't know what it was. It was on PBS or something. It was a kind of a forum, and these blue ribbon panel was asking these guys questions about the Hyperloop, and one lady said, "This seems like a lot of money. Are you sure you wouldn't want to try and cure cancer instead?" It was hilarious.
What did he say?
He said, "Well, this can do a lot of good for the people in our community as well."
I mean, I don't imagine that the engineers they have. I mean, there's purely a money argument, I suppose.
Well, and let's be fair. I mean, this isn't actually saying anybody signed up to do it. All it's done is that Hyperloop has done a study saying that it is feasible to do this.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they've got like test track in places. I want to see the first. Like, I'm really curious to see if they're actually going to be able to build a functional one between two major areas.
It would be a huge moneymaker for everyone involved.
I mean, can you imagine if those two cities were connected like that?
Yeah, but I have a very vivid imagination, so.
They're saying that they think that if they could get it to work, they would hopefully have it running by mid-2020s. So it's not that far away.
Yeah,
Virgin's rocking stuff out lately, aren't they?
And they said it would be more expensive just to add a lane to is it I-70?
Really? Yeah.
Well, because they have to buy the land and do all the infrastructure. They said the land is already there between the two roads, so.
Oh, so this is. Sorry, I popped in the middle of this. It seems like it's going to be pretty.
Well, that's what the Hyperloop's going to do.
Right between the two lanes.
Yep. Between the interstate lanes.
Well, I think it sounds stupid. I think it sounds like a waste of time, and I feel like they should be curing cancer. Thumbs down.
I'm saying thumbs up. Anytime you can go 700 miles an hour.
I give it a thumbs down because it's not here, so I want to use it.
Thumbs up. I don't particularly care where it is.
Thumbs up only if it pops up like a SimCity advancement, like just sprouts up.
I would be interested to see.
You like plop it down and it makes a little construction noise. It's just like grr, grr, grr.
I wonder if they would connect it with the arch in St. Louis. You just ride the arch and then you get off and it shoots you down the tunnel.
No, they're gonna put the tube right between the arch.
You need that drop to get it going.
It's all just one.
That's how it gets up. So it picks up momentum. Right after.
Did anybody see April Fools yesterday? Did anybody run any good April Fools jokes?
April Fools can go to hell and die.
Free newsletter that I signed up for. A free newsletter that I signed up for sent me an invoice for $50. My monthly subscription has renewed. They said thank you for continuing your support. And I was like, well, when did I sign up for that? And then, but right in the body, they were like, just kidding. Please don't get me mad.
I think
like in like fine text.
I called a few people and did a Mr. T voice and said, "It's April Fools."
Great.
Yeah,
that really got him.
Who'd you do that to?
A bunch of telemarketer people. Numbers that were still on my phone.
Oh, amazing.
Well, apparently Microsoft would agree with Matt and say that it is stupid because they yesterday banned April Fool's Day pranks. I think the funniest article I read was April Fool's, which is the only day that anybody critically thinks about what they read on the internet.
The problem is I don't know what day it is. So like all this shit just comes down the pipe,
You don't know what day it is?
I mean, I don't know.
Today's Tuesday, man.
It's CouncilCast.
CouncilCast.
April 2nd.
And it just continues to get me too. It's like, oh, it's April 1st. Yeah, okay, fuck. I got screwed over on that. And then like 20 minutes later I see something and I'm like, oh man, this thing. It's just again and again and again.
I'm gonna have to remember that for next April Fool's Day.
And I know, okay, so I wanna gauge you on this. So like this is gonna be like the most first worldy of problems, basically. But like our cafe staff at work decided it would be a good idea to participate in the April Fools, which is fine. But like it was like on our internal site, it puts like the menu up for like what the food's gonna be throughout the week, and the joke was that they put up for each day. It was like super popular items. So like today was like barbecue. It was like brisket and like this other stuff. That wasn't really what was for food. That was just what was like listed.
That's
so like it. And I know it sounds so lame to complain about, but like the main reason I complained about it at all was that it's like people made actual real life decisions on like inviting people to come. Like people invite people to come into work based on what the menu is to eat. So, and like we told our intern that, you know, like he was like, oh, I might try to make it over to the office to eat over lunch and then go back to class. And we're like, oh yeah, it's brisket. Definitely try to do that. And it's just like, you know, I don't know. I thought it was, I thought when it's actually impacting people's like decision making in their real life and putting people out, like that's when you've gone too far with your prank.
So you felt betrayed and lied to?
I mean, there's some of that, but and I also am like, I understand it's not a big deal and I should just get over it. But like, if you're like, oh yeah, mom, why don't you come up from Des Moines? Like, I know you've been talking about how you want to try our brisket, and then you come up and that's not what it is. Like, you just quote unquote wasted. Like, you're not wasting it. You get to spend lunch with your mom, but
no, it sucks unless there's brisket.
Would it have been?
That's just my example. Like,
would it have been better if they said we are serving hot dogs today, and then you got in there? The few people that showed up went brisket. This is amazing.
Yeah, that's what they should have done. Was done like
the opposite way.
Right. People would have been just as pissed. They would have been just as upset.
I suppose. Oh man, you got the one guy that's really in the hot dogs.
Brisket day.
I like hot dogs, so yeah. I don't know. I just feel like that was
chicken livers. I don't know, something nasty.
Like the pranks online where it's like, look at this funny product that, you know, that is a thing and it's not a thing. That like that doesn't quote unquote hurt anyone. Like nobody makes any decisions about their life based on what they saw there.
Speak for yourself.
Unless it's a goddamn caffeine inhaler and you try to order 3 and they're not real.
I mean, I think that the online products one, I think, is a little bit more of a good April Fool's joke because you most likely can't buy it. But I think it's like the fake news stuff where people make up stories, and it's like, where do you define fake news from April Fool's? From, you know, can you read anything on the internet on April Fool's Day and believe what it is?
One of my favorite was ESPN on their magazine put out an article about a pitcher who could throw like 112 miles an hour,
which is fast as hell.
Well, it's impossible. And
right,
so they talked about
like 6 more miles an hour than the fastest pitch ever thrown.
And he it was really a cool article. And then they came out later with April Fools, but
yeah,
I like that one because everyone was all up and, oh, we can't wait to see this guy. He's going to blow everyone away. They talked about the catcher had to have a certain mitt to catch that fastball and on and on and on. It was pretty cool.
I mean, essentially, like I summed it up in my post on Facebook, which is where I put all the important things. I said April 1st is the worst because all these companies tease quote unquote joke products I'd actually buy.
I liked that. I laughed at it.
It happened to me more than once. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I want that. And then I find out it's not real and I'm just sad no one's making what I want.
Yeah. And I think you're right. It's when it comes to having people be put out, quote unquote, for the prank. I mean, there's the article I linked here mentioned a couple in the past.
It's a stretch to say you were put out for the situation I described with the lunch stuff, but then like, yeah. I mean, not really. Like, if somebody like drove a decent ways to like come into lunch because it was specifically a thing that they had been hoping for, like,
yeah. I mean, and then.
Whoa. Blaine, you cut out. Oh no!
Here.
Oh no!
You cut out.
Oh, no.
You started like it cut out right at and then.
Okay.
So and then
so they talked about.
I have to go.
Like some other cases where Google added a couple of years ago despicable minions into emails.
Oh yeah.
And they started muting threads a few years for just causing an April Fool's prank. And so, I mean, some of it's funny and some of it's like, you guys are taking this a little too far. So I'm okay with getting rid of them.
I guess I would ask that in future April Fool's pranks, if you feel the need to do them, try to think what people will do based off whatever you're doing.
You should probably run it by somebody else before you implement the April Fool's joke.
Like what was Microsoft's deal? What'd they say
this year?
Yeah, like what was their
reasoning?
At work, like is it like employees you can't prank each other kind of deal?
No, they said for anything.
Like no product groups.
Yep, they said
jokes.
Yep, they said it's that time of the year. This is a quote from their internal memo. It's that time of the year when tech companies try to show their creativity with April Fool's Day stunts. Sometimes the outcomes are amusing and sometimes they're not. Either way, data tells us that stunts have limited positive impact and can actually result in unwanted news cycles. He's asking that all teams at Microsoft to not do any public-facing April Fool's Days stunts. So, that basically anything that's public-facing, we're not going to do anything that's going to try and trick users.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. I mean, all of this is just like complete whining, but whatever.
I give it a thumbs up for canceling it.
I mean, I like that they're being like, nah, we're not gonna do it. Like, to me, like, I know it sounds so fun hatery, but I'm so over it every year.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get much press out of it anyway, and most of the time it's not very good. So
I don't know that I've ever been actually influenced by a April Fool's Day joke.
I mean, neither have I. Aside from like the trying to order the things that don't exist.
Yeah, I say thumbs down for the corporate machine trying to kill all the fun in the world.
So. Yeah.
Thumbs down to the man.
Like what I'm trying
thumbs down to the man.
But I can't avoid that because I'm exactly just like, nah, this is lame.
Well, what isn't lame is Harambe raps. You guys remember Harambe?
Yeah, he's dead. How'd he rap? He's like Tupac. He came back.
Something like that. His buddy Elon Musk made a rap about Harambe.
Oh, that. I don't understand this guy. I just don't. Like,
did you listen to this?
No,
like
I heard
the worst rap I've ever listened to.
Is it legitimately him rapping?
Apparently.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
He talks a lot about R.I.P. Harambe, sipping on some Bombay.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
He says he's smoking on some strong. I mean, I think he's just owning up to the fact that.
What would possess you to do this?
I mean, he was high as fuck when he did this.
Maybe he read our tweets and watched our broadcast and just.
This was not one of the things we suggested he do. We never in a million years would we have thought to suggest this. Can you imagine if we had?
We gotta start making our requests a little crazier.
Apparently, that was possible. Up the motherfucking game.
He's obviously willing to go to the limit here.
I like how he made up his own rapper name is Emoji.
Emoji.
Wait.
Did I?
Thumbs down.
Nah, I'm gonna go solid no vote.
There's no side voting here. It's all yes or no.
Part of this is supposed to be him. It doesn't sound like him.
I mean, it gets auto-tuned super
Just
bad.
because it's
Auto-tuned.
is on your side?
What?
Nothing.
Harambe's on your side?
No.
I mean, I would say that he has absolutely no skills on rapping, so thumbs down.
Yeah, I don't.
I think he should stick to his day job.
I like this line. In conclusion, I rate this a 2 out of 5 enraged fanboys yelling, "I'm Pickle Rick" in a McDonald's. That's
Pickle
pretty
Rick,
well
Elon Musk rapping.
Like, I don't get it, but I've never been good at art, so maybe it's just going way over my head, and this is like way ahead of its time.
I think he should just go back to bothering the SEC. So he has other important things.
I'm
all right.
Those videos were just something else. Like, it made me feel as uncomfortable as watching like those 13-year-old kids film themselves quote unquote slipping in the supermarket while holding 2-gallon jugs of milk.
It's called gallon smashing.
Yeah, and it's fucking stupid.
Wait, you're comparing gallon smashing to what?
Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick is amazing. Unbelievable.
I can't tell. I can't either. Either you have no idea, or you have.
I'm Pickle Rick. I know exactly what it is.
Have you watched it?
Yes, I love that episode.
I'm not gonna lie, Brian. I did not expect you to have watched that show.
What
Fucking
amazing.
Who's that, Rick?
That is why you don't go to therapy.
I mean,
yes.
I also enjoy Pickle Rick, but not to the extent that I want to like lie down on the floor in a McDonald's because gross and flop around screaming, "I'm Pickle Rick."
No. I know you stupid cats think that I look like a snake, but cucumbers are not snakes. Don't.
That was horrible. I've never seen anything more disturbing.
You hadn't seen.
I've not seen that. No.
And these people are so into it. Like, has it died down? I feel like the Rick and Morty, like I like Rick and Morty, but I'm not.
They got signed on for like 10 more seasons.
That's fine. I'm saying, like, has the you have to
wait a minute.
You have to be a man of real intelligence to like the show or get it right.
Oh, it's an amazing show. I love it. Now, your people actually were laying down being Pickle Rick on the floor?
Yeah, and you need
Oh, that's stupid.
Sometimes they do it on the counters, too.
Oh,
like,
that's
just
ridiculous.
throw themselves over the
So I have to
counters.
know, did you find the show and watch it on your own, or were you introduced to it by somebody else?
Me?
Yeah.
Like many things I do, my kids introduced me to it. So Silas said, "You got to watch this." And so I watched it and went, "This is amazing."
Really? Did
Yeah,
you have an initial "This is fucking stupid"?
God.
Like,
No,
you were
I loved
instantly on board.
No.
That's great. I love
Instantly on board. That's a great show. And Pickle Rick is an amazing episode.
it. Yeah, it is. It's just it ends like I had never seen it for the longest time, and then finally watched it, and I was like, "This is so badass."
So I was
just ridiculous.
Release Jaguar.
I was watching Pickle Rick, and then one of the recommended videos to me was a car with saw blades for wheels.
Whoa!
What?
Hey.
Put that on the docket for next week.
They're using it to drive around on a frozen lake.
Oh, that seems like a terrible idea. These guys simultaneously were like, you know what? Let's do something great and also really fucking stupid.
This is like the worst thing I've ever seen.
I think this is a great continuation of Elon Musk rapping.
Wow.
Oh, by the way,
all right.
Thumbs down.
Yeah.
For Elon.
I
That
think
was terrible.
final vote, thumbs down.
Thumbs down. All right. You know, maybe this will make us all a little bit happier. Is that Russia has, with their excellent history of drone technology, they have decided that they are going to combat enemy drones by mounting shotguns to other drones and shooting them out of the sky.
Now, is Russia one of the two drone superpowers? Drone powers.
I think
drone
so.
powers. Drone power.
I remember we did have a video, I think, a few council casts ago, where there was a drone that was going to deliver mail in Russia. And as soon as the video was, as soon as it took off, it flew right into a wall, and so it looks like they've improved their drone technology since then.
Well, they're a drone power.
They're now a drone. They're now going to declare themselves a drone power, and you can watch the video. But it's a drone with a shotgun mounted on it, and it just flies around, and it's got like a semi-auto clip in it, so it can just keep firing. And they shoot things out of the sky.
Oh, I thought this was for crowd control.
No, this is for shooting things out of the sky.
Yeah, okay. I feel like it's KGB crowd control.
It's actually the best trap gun you've ever used.
Trap gun. Oh my gosh.
Is it a big enough barrel that beanbags fit in it? Because I feel like it's guised for crowd control.
I'm really liking this one because we're getting more and more automated machines controlled by people somewhere else fighting battles. So pretty soon it'll just be like, I don't know. There's got to be some movie or some story where automated things fight each other.
Can I get this on? Can I get this weapon on Halo? Because I would be all about a flying shotgun on Halo.
So I'm reading this article, and I like how they talk about other ways that people have tried to counter drones. And there's the most common defensive measure, which is just creating a jamming system.
Yeah.
And so there's some people out there who are like, I think we'll just jam the system so that drones can't fly. And Russia's like, yeah, we'll just mount a shotgun to another drone and we'll shoot others out of the sky. Makes sense. We've got all these shotguns left over, so what are we going to do with them?
Left over from what? What do they have shotguns
I don't
know. Shotguns left over?
Guys, this is the KGB. They're upgrading weapons. They've got plenty of shotguns left over.
You got a bunch of old shotguns from World War II, right? I'm going
to... Gosh. Single shot.
I mean, the video of the guy shooting it is... He looks pretty happy, so...
It's ridiculous.
I think give it a thumbs up for coming up with an idea out of the box.
I'm not going to lie. I ignored this entire segment and read about the Szechuan sauce pickle Rick stuff. Because I just couldn't remember how ridiculous all of it was. So we're going to go one thumbs up and one thumbs down just to balance it out.
What was the conclusion on Pickle Rick?
Just like more questions than answers, man. like what that's like reading that article and watching the videos of the people chant, "We want Szechuan sauce." Like, and the one dude like standing on top of the counter at McDonald's screaming pickle. Like, granted, all of this could be just like a publicity stunt, like and like that kind of shit.
It's possible,
but like those types of videos are the ones that make me just be like, we had a good run. We should probably just burn it down and start over. Like, we've gotten too big for our britches.
There was it's funny that we bring this up. There's other day, McDonald's off of Times Square. There was a group of Rick-like looking people chanting.
I don't know.
We want Szechuan sauce.
Seriously?
Yes.
Like, I mean, I get like, like it's funny, and if you're being harmless, but like, you're not being harmless if you're like up on the counter, jumping up and down, screaming.
Oh no. There's a couple of guys that I've seen do the Pickle Rick thing, and they've just thrown themselves on the counter and roll back and forth on the counter.
Yeah, that's the same kind of shit. I put it in the same group, like I said earlier, like the
Kind of
gallon
insulting to. I mean, Pickle Rick was quite an achievement.
It absolutely was. Turn yourself into a pickle to miss out on therapy?
No, to be able to. He just was so,
Pickly.
he was so capable as a pickle.
He was so capable.
I don't know. I can't figure out how to call it. I turned myself into a pickle, Morty.
Capable pickle.
Morty, I'm a pickle. I'm Pickle Rick.
You think there could be a band name? Capable pickle.
Capable pickle.
Are you inside my head, Rick?
God,
No, Morty,
Don't-
just go to the garage.
I'm reading Urban Dictionary about Pickle Rick. Don't read it, okay?
okay.
There's way too many references to the
Are the
pickle
first
part.
3 sex facts?
Yeah.
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 That's Urban Dictionary for you.
I closed it. I'm scrubbing out my history now. That's bad. That's bad. Bad.
You're probably gonna have to get a new computer now.
Yeah. anyone have to get a new. Is that what happens, right? When you look at something you shouldn't, you can't just erase it. You just have to get a new computer and throw
You're
this
not doing
one
that
down.
on my desktop, are you?
All right.
Oh.
I think
right.
we're gonna wrap up this week with our Elon Musk pitches. If anybody has any that they want to share.
I have one. I would like for Elon Musk to never rap again.
Whoa.
Wow.
What a short-lived rap. That's harsh words from a fair critic.
It's from someone with no rhythm. Don't ever rap again, Elon Musk.
I'm gonna kind of mix all of these together. I think I'd like to see combat drones with great white sharks with lasers on.
Join the Space Force.
Joining the Space Force. Yes, I think that is something I would like to see.
Elon should join. Elon should be his own Space Force.
I think we'd all like to see
Space
that.
Force. Space Force.
This sounds like something straight out of like Aquaman, something where the sharks are just not in the water anymore. But
Great white. I'm going to vote a thumbs up on not rapping again. I think that's probably a good call.
yes,
And then I got great white shark combat drones that can be used in the Space Force.
Boom. I like that one.
Should we sell that to Mike to Mr. Pence?
So every time we say so, man, I was like you, Logan. Like I laughed every time Space Force was said. Which actually made it difficult. I'm pretty sure. Have you read Skyward yet by Brandon Sanderson Blaine?
No.
I'm pretty sure it's one of his. He has. I think it might actually be some of his first science fiction. Like he writes mostly fantasy, right?
Yeah.
And then my boss at work was like, "Hey, Sanderson wrote some science fiction. You should start with that if you were trying to break into Sanderson." So I read that in like a very short amount of time, and I'm pretty sure the fighting space agency that is in that book is called the Space Force. And every time I was like, I just wish it were called something else. Like
that's awesome.
That's amazing.
And he'd been writing. I mean, the book. It's not like. I guess he probably could have changed it, but I don't. When was the Space Force stuff announced by Trump?
Well, I think Space Force itself was probably older than Trump.
Yeah, the term, like I'm sure it had been a term that had come around before for maybe that's what they're gonna call it. But it just why? Okay, so I have a question.
Don't hurt yourself.
I know I can't talk. My brain is freaking shot. When it comes to the Space Force stuff, there was a bunch of like hullabaloo made about it because like was most of it around like how funny it sounded, like or just the way it was presented,
or who was presenting it,
or who was like if so right. So that's my question. Like if Obama or George Bush stood up there and talked about the Space Force that we were making, would we have been, or is it just like everything for me that comes out of his mouth is like a step away from being hilarious, and it doesn't take much to get me there?
I think when Reagan said Star Wars and we were going to have missiles that shot missiles out of the sky. We all kind of laughed at that too.
Okay, so that was
Star Wars? Seriously? Missiles
think,
shooting missiles? Come on.
I think the problem is having anything that's militarized in space that people have a problem with, and so it's like
I don't. It's
does
not
that
that
mean we're going to become Star Wars?
The name makes me giggle. Like it doesn't. It's like I almost can't take it seriously because it's called the Space Force.
Well, the name sounds like a B-level science fiction movie.
Right,
so.
and I think I think that's what gets me the most with it. But I truly don't know what else you would call it.
Space military,
interstellar,
the
intercosmic, intergalactic,
the
celestial.
Something. I mean, I would want to stick with like science fiction has traditionally gone with calling it some form of like navy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Space Navy.
Yes, Space Navy it is.
Space Navy.
That's
way better.
On it.
I like Galactic Navy.
I mean, are we galactic
that?
Or was that like a? That's like a dream. That's like we're naming it for the future.
Yeah, why
so we don't have to. So we don't have to. You know, when we're exactly. So when we're the solar system navy for like 1,000 years, and we gotta go intergalactic, and we call it like or when we're just intragalactic, and you call it the Galactic Navy, they're all gonna be giggling about that name because it just sounds so dumb.
Why don't we just call it? I don't know, Star Trek.
Now we're on to something. I feel like I'm just doing a Diet Coke ad.
So is your pitch then for Elon Musk to create another Space Force but not call it the Space Force?
You know, I think we need a Space Force task force rebranding task force. We're not even, when was it? That's what I was looking up. Are we not even a year in and we need to talk about rebranding and repositioning?
He first brought it up in 2017, so...
Oh, that's way longer than I thought. What the fuck? Where is time gone? I would have told you that if you had asked me when that had happened, I would have told you like 6 months ago. Like, wow.
We talked about the Space Force like a lot.
Yeah, dude, I don't remember that.
June last year we talked. There was episode 7, Trump Space Plan by George Lucas. So.
Did you say episode 7?
No, episode 45. That the title of the episode was episode 7, Trump Space Force by George Lucas.
I can't believe we're now at 75 episodes. That's ridiculous.
So if you want to hear more about the Space Force, you can go check out episode 45.
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that and see what we thought then.
It was probably insightful.
We always are.
Yes, always.
I give a thumbs up to rebranding the Space Force. I think that's a good task for Elon Musk.
I like that. Make it a little more appealing to the ever needed like 6 to 10 demographic.
There you go. I think
it's just not polling well with them.
Space Force.
I think that Elon Musk should, to help support whatever his rebranded Space Force is going to be, I think he should actually build a Hyperloop in space for the Space Force, and it could be, it could allow them to...
Isn't the Hyperloop's already supposed to be like low pressure near vacuum, right?
Well, yeah, but this way you could go around the Earth way faster.
Hyperloop to the heavens. Oh, that sounds pretty bad.
There you
go. That sounds like
it sounded good in my head, and then it sounds like
how
mouth.
We would use a hyperloop, but not really a loop. It's like a hyper ramp, and it's just how we do celestial burials. It's just
sunk like a tube at the
see ya, grandma. Yeah, you just life is ended with a
giant potato can.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and that would give
it's got that PVC like just hollow like sound.
That would give India more things to shoot at.
Oh.
And Russia would join in with their shotgun.
With their shotgun.
Wow.
Talk about
Perfect.
moving troops.
That's pretty bad.
All right.
I'm Pickle Rick.
Hyperloop to the heavens.
Hyperloop in space or allows you to get to space.
Oh, now you're taking over Silas's duties of tweeting this out.
Tweeting this ridiculous thing that we're talking about.
Well, I'm not going to tweet it out because I don't feel like going to Twitter. So
Yeah.
He's typing it up, but he's going to give it to Silas.
Nobody
I
feels
will-
like going to Twitter.
yeah,
Amazing.
The president's ruined it for us.
maybe it's the Space Force. All right. I think with that, we're going to call this council meeting adjourned. We want to thank each and every one of you listeners for listening and tuning in live, all 0 listeners. And but if you liked what you saw and you want to check out all of our past episodes, you can check us out on YouTube or your favorite podcatcher by searching for CouncilCast. We do record this live on Tuesday nights.
My God.
You can, if you have any questions or you have a topic that you want the council's decision on, you can email us at councilcast@gmail.com or connect with us on Twitter at RealCouncilCast.
I just noticed that my bandwidth thing for Hangouts has been set to medium and not auto HD.
Nice.
Oh man, I'm gonna be so clear next week.
All right. Well, with that, thanks for listening and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Do, 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 do.